I know that a few people joined in new right now, but hello to everybody. Hi, Hina. So, welcome and today's session. Well, today's session, some of you actually said that we want to hear on this topic, on the topic of compromise, on the topic of compromise. And I think I always talk about compromise and in the same word, in the same bit of tone as sacrifice. And what is the energy perspective? Normally we consider sacrifice to be a thing of great honor, that, she sacrificed this and he sacrificed this for his children, and they did this for their for their parents. They made these sacrifices. We are considered to be, godlike when we make the sacrifices. But when we make the energy interpretations of it, when we understand the energy interpretations of it, out comes a different story. And so, since our job is only to look at the energy side of it, to see how is it, when we make some sacrifice, some compromise, and what does it mean to be either compromising or demanding for somebody to compromise. So firstly, from the person that I was told, okay, she wants to hear something about compromise. She wants to hear, because compromise, just thinking of a compromise makes her very uncomfortable, makes her jittery. And so here is the thing. Firstly, when we look at I have to compromise, what does it even mean that we have to compromise on something? I want something and I cannot get it. I want something really badly and I cannot get it. And so if there's somebody else from whom I have to receive, I reach somewhat of a middle ground. I reach a middle ground where it's not exactly what I want, but I say, okay, in life, nobody gets what they want. And so you compromise. We constantly keep hearing from our parents many times that, okay, in life, in marriage, in every relationship, there has to be a compromise. And then we think, okay, we have to give up something. We have to give up something to receive something. And that giving up is going to be a large part of our relationships. From that place comes the feeling of compromise. And then as we think of compromising to somebody else, adjusting to somebody else's ways or doing things that we didn't plan in our life, but now we have to compromise. When we think of life in such a way, the one thing that we are filling ourselves with is resentment. The one thing we are definitely filling ourselves with is resentment, because this is not something that I wanted, but now I have to do it. And so resentment, the anger, the suppressed anger, whose energy is that going to be? Well, that anger energy belongs to you. And so the more you think that you're compromising on something, firstly, take a look at the energy. Are you really coming from a place of, I don't want to do it, but I have to do it? Whenever you are being forced into a place of a compromise, then that energy of resentment is always going to be there. Now, underneath that compromise, underneath that, why do I not want to compromise, is also the fear. There is also the fear that, okay, when I compromise, I will receive less than what is due to me. I will not receive what I am capable of. I will not receive what I am expecting. I will not receive what I should receive, but I will simply receive something lesser. And that is the fear, that when I compromise, I will be receiving something lesser. So here it is, that fear. But when we look at the energies, when we just simply look at the energy that we hold, can we ever get more than what our energy holds? And can we get less than what our energy holds? No. If we keep changing the energy to fear, we will simply keep receiving as per the new amount of fear. We had 1 kilo of fear to begin with, and now we have about 5 kilos. Okay, then we will now be receiving as per our 5 kilo of fear. But if we are going to simply be looking at the energies of fear and being able to release it, Then as we reduce the fear and go more into joy, more into masti, more into laughter, then we will be receiving as per the new energies that we hold. So no matter which way we look at it, if outside an actor is trying to make us compromise, if outside an actor is trying to make us compromise, then please understand that unless in your energy there is resentment that wants to go up, you will not be even pushed to compromise or sacrifice. You won't even be pushed to. If there is anger in you, if there is resentment in you, then some story has to come outside. And maybe today's story will be all about compromise. But yet, to understand very quickly, cutting down the chase and understanding that the energy of resentment, the energy of anger, and the fear that you hold against the compromise, all of those energies belong to you and they are in your energy field. Today, you don't compromise. Okay, that's perfectly all right. Does it mean that that energy of resentment is not going to play out somewhere? Of course, it's going to play out because you haven't looked at it. You haven't observed it. So when we look at something outside, these people keep wanting me to compromise. They want me to get married to a person that, is not up to the mark. And I have to compromise on that. I have to spend my life. Can you see how much fear is there that somebody else can give you something that is not there in your energy field? And I only understand one thing of the energy, that somebody else can only come into your life. That compromise will only happen if in you, you hold those energies of suppressed anger as in resentment. We hold that anger deep in our hearts. And then no matter whether it's suppressed or expressed in the energies, it's anger. And so anger will be the play more and more when we sit in, why did I have to compromise? Why was I made to compromise? Then again, the fear that we have to look into, why do we never want to compromise? I have, mostly when I talk about friction, and compromise will happen when one of the person gives in, sacrifices, when one of the persons does that. But underneath that, the energy is still going to be of friction because you didn't do this compromise, this sacrifice from the energies of joy. Wherever I see people saying, oh, I gave up my career. I gave up my career for my children because, children were born and then one of us had to be home. Otherwise, who would look after the children? And I always kind of ask, do you regret that? Do you regret having given up your career? And many of the times, the answer is yes. Oh, I was doing so well, but then, I had to give this up. Well, even through this, you thought that the act was something that was a very, very nice, pretty, beautiful act, that you had to take care of your children. And so you wanted to give them the best and you wanted to be a good parent. And therefore, you sacrificed your career and sat at home. But can you imagine, even through this action, and each time that you think about, oh, I had to give up this and I had to give up that. And each time that you think about something in those terms, you are again and again just simply renewing those resentment energies for yourself. That resentment that you hold is going to show up at various places in your life. And then what happens? Whenever somebody makes a sacrifice, makes a compromise, immediately underneath, I'm sure that there is, because when we are not looking, there always is, there is going to be an expectation of reciprocity. I did this for them, and so now they must have to do something back for me. Otherwise, again, it's going to be a lot of hurt, because when there is expectation, then there is attachment and expectation. We know where that link goes. It goes to increase your hurt frequency. That's all. It just goes to increase your hurt frequency. Mind you, hurt is a frequency that you are holding within yourself. Just like you're holding the anger, you're also holding the hurt. But on the day that hurt wants to play out, a story outside will be of broken expectations. And if you've already done some kind of sacrifices and compromises to include somebody, to make somebody outside of you happy, I have to compromise to make my mother happy, I have to compromise to make my spouse happy. If you are ever doing something to make somebody else happy, please understand that the only way that you can make somebody happy is by transmitting the frequencies of happiness. That's all. When you are sitting in the frequency of happiness, that is what you are transmitting to everyone around you. What you say, what you do, irrespective of that, inconsequential, that is how much happy you are trying to make somebody, you're going, round and round, you're turning backwards to make somebody happy. And how many times have we noticed that, oh my God, I bent over backwards to make you happy, but look at this, what have you given me in return? What is all of that about? That is about experiencing the expectations and the breaking of expectations. When the expectations break, this is how it looks like. It is going to tug into your hurt frequency. And when we get hurt, then we'll think, oh, I did so much for someone. You were just an actor in their life. But while you were an actor in their life, what energy were you creating for yourself? Because that energy is from where you are receiving. No matter where outside you put your finger on, it is from your energy alone that you are always receiving. You are always transmitting that energy, and that energy is getting reflected back at you. Apart from that, making sacrifices and making compromises for somebody or the other, bollocks, bullshit. So, I understand that many of us sit under this moral obligation. No, my parents have done so much for me. Now I must do this back for them. If they have made a demand from me, I must fulfill that demand, even if it means that I have to compromise, I have to sacrifice. Understand that even those parents who are making a demand from you, they are only existing because a story has to be created from your energy, which will allow your sacrifice, your resentment, your fears to play out. Those people, they are making those kinds of demands, not because they are some kind of a person or, not the best parents or they are the best parents. None of that. They are simply playing the dialogues that they are speaking have been handed over to them from your energy. Your energy, your energy, your energy. My energy, my energy, my energy. The game starts and stops there. We can keep finding 100 stories to justify. Even that justification, I had to do this for someone. That justification, just see what energy you are putting underneath that. That might be the energy of guilt. You're feeling guilty because you haven't ever listened to your parents. And now when they say something out of guilt, you agree to compromise. Please understand the energies of guilt, the energies of fear, those of expectations, those of sacrifice, leading to those of resentment and anger. That's all that you will end up creating for yourself if you are thinking in terms of compromise. Then we come to the other side when you say, why do I have to compromise? I never want to compromise. So firstly, if you are looking to compromise, and then if you are not looking to compromise, in both of those places, you will see that underneath that will be fear if you're going by the true definition of word compromise. If you have already observed yourself, you've observed yourself, and somebody is asking to do something that doesn't agree with you. Let us say it's only, and I take this example a lot of times when it comes to friction, we have friction not on many big topics, but we have friction on the smallest of topics on a daily basis. One of our friends wants to go out for a movie, and we want to go out for, I don't know, we want to go out for a walk in the park. And then, they say, no, we always do what you want to do. And then you say, okay, fine. Let's not go for the movie. Let's not go for the park. Let's just go out for dinner. Now, that would be the perfect example of a compromise. Even as you go out for that dinner, take a look within as to what you are feeling. You wanted to go out for a walk in the park, and it's not happening as per your liking. Take a look at what is that creating, this friction that you're feeling with the other person. What is it creating within you? Each and every time I remind people that when you are looking at somebody outside and then you say, but how will I compromise? Or, somebody has to reach a compromise. Every time it can't be that my demand is going to be listened to. Sure enough, but are you going in there with the definition of a sacrifice, of a compromise, or are you going in over there with the energy of whatever is the best will happen today? Whatever needs to happen will happen today. If a walk in the park is called for, a walk will happen. If we have to go out for a dinner, that will happen. If the movie needs to be seen, that will happen. I allow. The minute you come to this place of allowance, this allowance is not for one event or not for, I always have to listen to him. Again, that would be resentment. If you allow, okay, fine, if I don't listen to him, he's going to constantly make life difficult for me. This is a fellow who's so difficult to get along with. So I might as well say yes. I might as well say yes. That would again be resentment. But if you are already looking at your own resentment and the actor who's been given the role of increasing this resentment for you, if you are looking at the resentment as your own frequency, you will be able to release it and come to a place of I flow. I flow, I allow. And then it doesn't become about I always have to do what you want me to do. You never listen to me. I always have to compromise. Then none of those points of resentment when you are in allowance. Then you simply flow. And something or the other will come around. Maybe it'll be a dinner, maybe it'll be a fourth thing altogether different. However, the energy that you would have put around this event would change the outside actor's role as well. The outside actor who has so far been shown, okay, this is the dialogue because I am going to be looking towards increasing my resentment. Now you play out some dialogues that will increase my resentment. And then they have to do that. But when I begin to release my own resentment, when I begin to release my own resentment, the outside begins to change. There is not so much resentment in you. Then how can outside be reflecting so much resentment back at you? It's always going to be your energy reflected right back, isn't it? Then when you are the one who wants somebody to compromise, you are the one who wants somebody to compromise, you just cannot, whatever they have given you as options, you just cannot do something. That's unthinkable. That's something that's undoable. They're asking you to do something and you cannot compromise. You are completely unwilling to compromise. If that's the story, again, the fear, there is most likely 99.99% of the times, there is still fear playing out. Not just when you are the one who has to compromise, but even when you are the one who doesn't want to compromise and you want somebody else to play that game, but you don't want to. You don't wish to compromise. And then in that moment, again, take a look, because here too, the energy is of fear. What will happen if you compromise? No, if I compromise and it'll happen again and again. I will always have to keep compromising. I cannot be compromising on things. Or, if I compromise, then this will be a habit and I will lose my freedom. I will lose myself. I will lose whatever it is that I stand for. I will lose my values. I will lose my something or the other. I will lose. And the fear being that you will lose a part of yourself. When we look at ourselves and the universe outside, and this line that I keep repeating, there is no other. When you lose a part of yourself to that other, then there is a victory and there is a loss. But when you lose a part of yourself to another part of yourself, and you can see that this part of myself is here to show me these emotions of mine, these energies of mine. This is the role play between this self and that part of myself. When you come from this is me and that is a reflection of me, then where is the fear? Who are you losing out to? Who is the victory to and who is the loss to? There is no other. A part of you wins and a part of you loses. But for that, you have to be in oneness. In oneness with that other. That other that you can see right now is forcing you, or you are completely unwilling to look at what that other has to offer. Why is that other even here? Why is that other here in your life? Because you come from so much of fear of losing yourself. You come from so much of fear that somebody else can impact you in such a way that you will not be you anymore. Whatever you stand for is going to go away. That fear just simply needs to be looked into, because in this particular way, we tie ourselves to being a certain person. But you know what? We are not a certain person. We are actually just a bundle of energies. And whatever frequency is tuning in today, you will play as per that frequency. Today, it could be a frequency of fear. You will play, all your thoughts will come from that fear. It could be the frequency of fearless today, your own frequency of fearless that you have tuned into. And then that frequency, you will no longer be operating from fear. You will simply be moving ahead fearlessly, because that is the frequency. Even in unawareness, you might just have tuned into that frequency, but that's your frequency today. So you are not a person. You are not a set of characteristics. As a matter of fact, you are a set of frequencies. And when we are not looking within, the frequencies change and we become whoever we are. If a large part of our frequency is fear, then again and again, more of that frequency will play, because in our frequency composition, in our energy field, there's 80% fear. Then each time, fear gets a chance to play some more, to play some more. I talk about it in a very simple way to say, our energy field is like one big pot, and the pot is covered with a lid, and somebody puts a hand in it and takes out something that's within the pot. Now, in the pot, if there's 80% sand and 20% gold, then there are 80% chances that sand is going to come out and 20% chances that gold is going to come out. So if that 80% of yours is fear and 20% is fearlessness, then chances are 80% of the time you will be acting from fear, 20% of the times from fearlessness. But whenever you are acting from fear, these kind of opportunities to work on your fear will come through. Opportunities to work on your fear. What do they look like? They look like events. When somebody asks you to compromise, when somebody puts you in the fear of losing yourself, this is simply an opportunity to grow yourself. Why do you have to protect yourself when, by rejecting the compromise? You can simply grow yourself and understand you are not just this body. You are not just this one thought, because right now that thought might be from fear. You are simply any thought that there is, and you can shift the thought by shifting the frequency itself. So firstly, tune into fearlessness, and then look at, so what if I compromise? You will come through many fears, but if you've already brought yourself into menal frequencies, then it's a little easier to become fearless. And so from that fearless space, take a look at it. If this happens, if I compromise, then what? If that person doesn't compromise, then what? If I am the only one that compromises at all times, then what? When this question comes up again and again, if what, so what, then what? All of your fears that you're holding will come out at you. And this time around, because you are in awareness, you are seeking these answers. So please, in awareness, you can simply make the opposite program. What is there to lose? It is me here and me over there. What is there to lose? When you ask this, what is there to lose? I lose a meal today, or I lose a walk in the park today, but I gained something else out of it. I gained a movie. I gained a movie out of it. And then that's all there is. In today's frequency, in the now, this is what is meant to be, and I will flow with it. When you flow, then none of these separations of the mind. The compromise frequency is simply a separation of the mind when there is you and then there is anti-you. But that anti-you is also just you only. And so when we sit in oneness, when we are able to bring ourselves to oneness, where is the other? There is no other. Where is the compromise? It's either this or that. Whatever is meant to happen, it will happen. But if I keep doing this, will the other person take me for granted? Fear of being taken for granted. Fear of being taken for granted. And from that space, you will keep running around to stop people from taking you for granted. But that doesn't stop people. What will stop people from taking you for granted is when you release the fear itself. You release the fear that anybody will take you for granted, and that's it. You don't have to do anything. You don't have to fortify yourself. You don't have to justify yourself. You don't have to validate yourself. You have to do none of that for people to not take you for granted, because there is nobody else who can take anybody else for granted. Nobody can take anybody for granted because no one else exists. It is you that is judging yourself. It is you that is sitting in that judgment that I am the weak one and a strong one will take me for granted. But then the wholeness piece right here. When I am Shiva, I am the weak one and I am the strong one as well. Today, when the flow is towards weak, I will be weak. When tomorrow the flow is towards strong, I will be strong. I am every frequency there is. So I'm the frequency of strong and I am the frequency of weak as well. I hope that I've managed to take out a few fears of compromises from some of you. And if not, it's a journey. It'll keep repeating. It'll show itself to you in so many different ways. Any questions, anyone? Okay, I see no questions. And okay, all right. So take a deep breath in. Take a deep breath in and exhale. Exhale. Bringing yourself to complete silence. Silence. Just only the word silence. If you observe any thoughts, then simply in the moment, release them. For a few minutes, I play in silence. Tell your thoughts. You will address them later. But right now, silence. Take the next breath in. And in your silent mind, put this word, or rather words, ease and grace. In your silent mind, just these three words, ease and grace. The rest of the mind is silent, only ease and grace. When I offer you ease and grace today, do you trust me to take in all of the ease and grace that is in my frequency? Do you trust me? You know the answer, and so simply looking at the answer, yes or no. If the answer is yes, simply put out your hands and allow for the frequencies of ease and grace to come to you. Allow. You will observe some tinglings for this energy, the energy of complete ease and grace. Ease and grace. Observe. Observe as that energy is coming to you. If the answer is no, if you don't trust me, if you don't trust that my energy of ease and grace is easy to be received, then simply look at your mistrust or your fear. What would happen if you would allow yourself to take energy from me? What would happen? Look at the fear, the mistrust that you might hold. And today might be the day that you wish to move towards ease and grace. So release the fear. When you are ready, release the fear and simply put your heart out. Put your hand out, put your heart out. Your heart is receiving this energy from the frequency of Meena, this energy of ease and grace. We think we want ease and grace. We say we want ease and grace. And then what stops the ease and grace? It is our energy of mistrust. It is our energy of mistrust. We don't trust the universe. We don't trust that the universe is playing in my favor. And so in this moment, simply being able to release the mistrust, I release my mistrust in this moment. The universe is playing in my favor. I am ready to receive ease and grace with ease and grace. Ease and grace with ease and grace. Wherever the blockage is in receiving love, or in receiving money, or in receiving some healing, wherever the blockage is, understand that it is simply your mistrust and your fear at play. Mistrust is from fear. And so in this moment, releasing your fears, releasing your mistrust, allowing the universe to understand that I am taken care of. I am taken care of. I am being taken care of, and I allow. I allow. The universe is a giving universe at all times, but it can only give as per your frequency. It reflects back at you. It gives back to you just your frequency. And so, in this moment, fully, completely trusting the universe, I trust the universe completely. I am the frequency of Meena. I trust. In this moment, I am the frequency of Meena, and I trust the universe fully, completely, totally. I am taken care of. The universe loves me because I love the universe. I love the universe. Take a look. Wherever your mind goes to remind you that you don't love this and you don't love that, in this moment, shake it off you. That frequency of hate is just another frequency. That frequency of anger is just another frequency. A frequency of resentment is just another frequency. And so in this moment, I choose the frequency of love. I love the universe. Each and every part of the universe I love. I love the giving universe. I allow myself to receive. I allow. I allow. I allow. Ease and grace. Ease and grace. To whoever is in the need of ease and grace, simply send a warm thought of love. If it is you that is in need of ease and grace, simply hug yourself. Ease and grace is mine. Ease and grace is mine. And now, emptying your mind back to silence, being silent completely, having absorbed the energies of ease and grace. Simply silence. No thoughts, no emotions. Om. Om. May all of you receive the ease and grace that you are looking for. Amen. Okay, everyone. Lots and lots of love. Bye.